I respect all women that are contributing in the 4B movement because that's something very powerful because sex is power.
Do you believe there's a gender war, and if so, who's winning?
I don't believe there's a gender war, but if there was a team winning, I would believe it's women.
Why?
Because women are powerful. Women are the sustainability of this country and Earth, honestly.
I think that we have a lot more choices today. We have a lot more options. Things are more in our favor.
Men.
Why?
Because men are doing better as women in women industry in general when it comes to sports, athletics, of course. And then you have like the fact that Caitlyn Jenner won the Best Woman award the first year she was a woman.
Men are always winning because they just think they're on top.
Because they think they win. But us women are truly winning.
Oh, definitely the women are winning because they have too much power in court. I mean, they really do. I mean, child support and alimony and all that, it's none of it's fair.
How is it a gender war when it's not all men and it's not all women?
Complicated question, but because we are equally seeing discrepancies on each side.
If it's a gender war, why are we only hearing one side?
Because mainstream media is helping to generate this fake wave.
Do you think men and women are purposely being divided by society? And if so, what can we do to repair the damage?
Yes, I do think we're being divided from each other. Like men are made to hate women, women are made to hate, but we need to communicate for real.
Honestly, I feel like people are on social media too much, and I feel like that could really, if like social media wasn't such a prevalent thing in our lives, I think it could definitely like change the movement of like hate men, hate women type of thing.
Men have taken a really big turn in not being providers or, financially or mentally or emotionally for women as supportive as they should be, and women are becoming the providers, and they're doing these things and stepping into more masculine energy, so you have like this kind of imbalance.
I think if maybe Trump wasn't in office, we could maybe repair the damage. Like if Obama was back.
What? Wait, hold on. Forgot to test this. Hold on. Hi, everybody. Hello. Is it loud enough? I feel like it's not. It's never loud enough. One day. Oh my God. What's up? Torshaa, it turns out. Oh no. Wait, my arch. Oh, I was like, what word is that? Arch enemy may in fact be countdowns. I don't know what that means, to be honest with you. My arch enemy? I don't think I have one, to be honest with you. I swear Torshaa had 3 different topics on in the same upcoming stream. Maybe. So it is. Win. Hello. Hello. You are clear and loud. Thank you, Devin. Apologize. My jaw. It's fucking swollen. I just took some aspirin though, so it should be fine momentarily. I have to go to the surgeon on Thursday. Only took a year. It was my own fault. Forgive me. But so far, nothing in this video, which was done by John at It's Complicated. Hi, I love you. He always asks the best questions. We were going to react to another one of his earlier, and we haven't done that yet. So if we have time today, otherwise we'll do that one tomorrow. I've been super behind. But they're talking about the gender war. The gender war. Women, men, mad at each other. What's going on? Do you guys think it's going to shift? I think so. It's like so far in this video, I'm trying to think. Women are winning. So that's what they've been saying so far. So I watched it already. I just haven't intently listened to it. And I have a feeling that's going to contradict itself. It's the first time I'm talking today.
But I'm also Canadian.
I think a lot of women.
Obama. She's like, Trump's in office. Obama. But I'm also Canadian. It's always the Canadians, you know? Okay.
A lot of women I know are going off the perspective that Trump is bad, and they haven't actually looked up what is going on. He's not every state is going to ban abortion, and not every state is going to stand, with that. You're still going to be able to have abortions. You're still going to be able to do the things that you want to do. Nothing's really going to be affected that much, but people are dramatically throwing themselves into this, everything's going to change for us and everything's going to be done for. We got to relax and we got to just calm down and look at everything that's really going on.
I would say
I like him. Guys, we're all connected. Okay. I feel like our biggest issue right now is the environment and that people are just sick, And then not to mention we're in the Western nation where other countries call us zombies because we work so much. It's just like a hustle culture. There's billboards, medications. They're just like, what's wrong with them? I think we're ill. So the more that we perpetuate negativity, hating men, hating women, the more that it cycles. But I am hopeful that we are going to move in the other direction. I also think, and this is a newer take, I think it almost feels like women as a collective are projecting their fears, whether that's from abuse or perceived collective abuse, but it seems like they project their fear onto men, as if men, as myself included, and it's like as if we think that men can fix it, and we have to fix it ourselves. It's inside, But I think men are responding to it by also projecting, but I would say it started with women first. It doesn't mean that women have ruined the world. It just means that in order to shift it in another direction, probably going to have to start with the women. And that's like one of the really cool things about women is it moves. So it's like a collective hive, if you will, but it moves. And a lot of this shit is online. When you meet people in person, you can tell that different people, genders, whatever, have their own beauty that they bring. Have you guys ever been to a bar where stitches? Have you guys ever been to a bar where you just somebody is striked up a conversation with you and you're just like, oh, they're like really cool, girl or guy, it doesn't matter. It's like we need that on a bigger front. It's like so obvious that we need to get everybody involved, right? We used to have got my little juice box. It used to feel like, at least in this space, that you should control what you can in your own life, and then it kind of manifests itself in the best way possible. And you could only hope that would be collective. But I think we need to all do it. I think we all need to aim upward. And if we see people aiming downward, we shouldn't just be like, oh, they can't help themselves. I feel like we need to move them in the right direction. Because then it like catapults itself. You know what I mean? Okay, I'll shut up. Hold on.
Just stop talking about it. Like it's
So
like
loud.
a thing like racism. I feel like the more you talk about it, the more it's going to exist.
True.
And I feel like it's the same thing with gender.
Who lies more, men or women, and why?
Women.
To themselves. to themselves?
I will be honest, because we want to hold back certain things so we do not affect our men.
That's probably an equal standard. Men probably think women lie more, and women probably think men lie more because everyone's been hurt.
I think women lie better, men lie more.
I think women lie more. I think we're more sneaky.
Honestly, they're way more sneaky. And honestly, if you go through a person's phone, you'll know. But I'm not a person to go through somebody's phone.
Who cheats more, men or women, and why?
They cheat themselves. However, who cheats? I don't know for sure. Okay. I don't like to speak like I'm an authority on something, but just like when I do, it's just what I observe. And it seems like people who cheat or who partake in addictive behaviors, trying to feel something, arguably women are more emotional. It seems like it's all stemming from a place of the projected self. That's why I was saying I feel like it's like at a bigger level. And you could say it about women, but you could say it about men too. With like porn, video games, whatever. It's like sedating yourself. And I don't know if it's like, I don't want to say women are held to higher standard because it's not that, but appearance wise, it's like, what are you doing drugs and shit? Like, obviously it's like people in your personal life should hold you accountable. It's just like if you're playing video games, you're kind of in your room. I feel like women are maybe more often in social networks publicly. So it's like, there's more, you can't get away with as much. You would just be an asshole. But yeah, I don't know.
Women. And why is because we're not getting fulfilled at our homestead.
Well, everybody cheats because of a lack of what they do or don't have in a relationship, right? Like
in themselves. It's not in the relationship. We're doing that thing. We're blame shifting. It's in yourself. Nobody makes you cheat on somebody. And to be honest, I feel like you need to be missing something in yourself to even be able to do it. Because the thing is, if you asked, sorry guys, I have like a lisp and stuff because of my job, but it's like if you ask somebody why did they cheat, chances are they don't even know. They might justify it in some way, but if you are solid in yourself, first and foremost, those sort of impulsive behaviors like dissipate. Dissipate, is that even a word? I don't know. They like disintegrate. They go away. You know what I'm trying to say.
For men, it may be physical, but for women, it's more emotional. So if a woman cheats, I think it's a little bit more, it cuts it a little bit deeper because she thought about that shit.
Men cheat because they are sexually unfulfilled, and women cheat.
I feel like women cheat, if we're even going to put like a duality on it, it's like women cheat because they're searching for somebody to make them feel whole again. Not like that, but like they need to look for it in themselves. And then men cheat because they're like detached. People will say, oh, men just do it physically. I feel like I hear you. I just, if it doesn't bother you up here, like you're dissociated, in my humble opinion. Obviously not all the time, and I'm generalizing, people do things for different reasons, but
because they're emotionally
feel whole.
I think women cheat more because they're always looking for a bigger, better deal. They are always saying, I deserve better.
Who is held more accountable, men or women, and why?
Men are held more accountable for what we do, but
and I know it's going to sound like I'm contradicting myself because just right before it, I know I know, but what I was saying was like in social networks, appearance wise, like you can only get away with so much shit. But anyways, men are held accountable in culture today way more than women. Way more. Even the whole outrage about Schmish Morrison and Donald Trump, we need to optimize our environment first and foremost. And so if we can't optimize the environment, we need to remove things. Okay? Obviously, who was the president that was like that was it Bill Clinton that said like they described Schmish Morrison in like 3 instances, like what was it? The quote was like rare, often, not often, rare, some implying that there should be limited Schmish Morrisons only in like the time of absolute necessity, but that it's acceptable. And we haven't done that, right? And so we know that women that get Schmish Morrisons, it's going to fuck you up psychologically. Okay? That's not an instance to take it away. Just hear me out. Okay? They fuck you up psychologically. It allows you to put yourself in situations that you probably wouldn't put yourself in if it was illegal. And I'm not victim blaming. I'm just saying, like, in the grand scheme of things, it allows for like removal of your mistakes without reflection. I don't know if that's really, it's always an out for something. Now, I know that women that get them see it way differently, but I'm saying on a grand level, instead of allowing our environment to have these things that change your behavior automatically are when things are removed. So like you could think of it like a ban. There's no ban on Schmish Morrison, but you know what I mean? Like if you can't do it yourself, which I don't fault you for, it's ideal to have it taken out. There's a case for like freedom, and I should be able to have my vices with gambling and you shouldn't be able to take that away. I know, I'm just saying. I feel like removing the ability to kill is probably going to be better. Okay. Obviously, all it did was go back to the states so that people didn't vote on it. That wasn't the reason, but okay, let's keep going.
Women are not held accountable for what they do enough.
Who is more sexist, men or women, and why?
Women.
Oh, definitely women as well. Sorry, women, I'm bashing, but I'm not. These are true facts.
Can you give an example? Like, why do you say that?
Because we always...
I gotta read this. Joker, I was literally thinking this yesterday, 100%. Joker says, the left convincing women they have reproductive rights is proof that you can market and sell women anything. The whole discourse around women shouldn't vote, and the way that we saw women on a collective level, granted it was like TikTok and the social media, so it's going to be a specific pool, you know, women who are more likely to have that, but we saw how they absolutely lost their shit. They thought that the country was going to be taken over by Hitler, and they started shaving their heads, having tantrums. It's proving the point. If you think that that was true, I'm not saying you shouldn't vote, right? But it really begged the question. It proved the point. Obviously, everybody should be able to vote, disabled, women, whatever, for sure. I'm just saying, when that conversation about women voting came up, people lost their shit. It started to like go away up until the election. Then it was kind of ramped up again. but the amount of indignation on that topic specifically, wild. Why? It was so easy to brainwash the Democratic Party. Arguably the other side too, but because we won, it's going to look different. Okay. But it's just, that isn't obvious. It's not. Okay. Sorry. I think about thinking. I think too much about thinking.
Want them to be a certain way, follow a certain structure, or be a certain kind of way instead of being themselves.
I would say men, to be honest, because they don't want to see women in power, and that's just the truth.
Men, because they're misogynistic assholes.
Can you say something good about men?
She was kidding. For anybody that wasn't sure. She was kidding. She was smiling.
Men?
They help create life.
Wait, that was so beautiful. Can we rewind that since I paused it? Funny.
Because they don't want to see women in power, and that's just the truth.
Men, because they're misogynistic assholes.
Can you say something good about men?
They help create life.
I love that.
Why is it more socially acceptable for women to hate men than it is for men to hate women?
Because women have been doing it longer. This is another reason why I say women are the ones that have to fix themselves first. They started the broken chain. Okay. It's okay, bitches. I'm here too. Okay. But women. So automatically, because women did it first, if you will, it's accepted. However, if it was, some people would argue that men did it first with the way they used to treat women. And guys, men have never really owned a woman. I'm just saying. Okay. It's like the culture was different. Values were different. We had different vibes. The vibes are different now. Okay. We got to flow.
Because that's a good question.
Can you say something good about men?
Oh, of course. Good dick. Oh. Oh, wait a minute. Their strength?
I think if men are respectable, they're great human beings.
And if they're a go-getter, because some men are not as strong-willed, as long as they're strong-willed, their strength, and of course.
Can you say something good about women?
I think that they are very beautiful creatures. I honestly love women. I like the intellect. It's the fact that they're kind of like not a straight line. Like men are kind of a straight line, simple, but women are kind of like this curved, like beautiful rhythm, I guess.
I love him. What's his name? Good vibes. Dynamic. They're dynamic. We all are.
You know?
Why is it more socially acceptable for women to hate men than it is for men to hate women?
I think because this country is built on misogyny, and honestly, the earth in general is built on misogyny.
Or because we're a bunch of toddlers. Sorry.
So women taking back their power, it makes a lot of sense, and that's why it's more normalized in today's society.
Because girls are for the girls. And I feel like there's a lot more girls on the social platforms than there are men for men.
If it's acceptable for women to hate men, how are men and women ever supposed to get together?
I think that it's to each their own. There are a lot of misandrists in the world, but at the end of the day, I feel like men and women, they do come together, and there shouldn't be a power inequality.
I think it's honestly all a toxic cycle. And I think we should really all try to get out of it. I feel like it's just negative energy on the internet.
Yes.
Why were feminists never considered a hate group, yet men merely fighting for their equal rights are?
Because it was women. Nobody really wants to hate on women. That's what women don't understand. You know, like nobody's against you. We're actually here for you. But they feel like because of the things they've seen and the things that go on with social media that we're against them.
Haven't women expressed the most hate from the start?
Yeah, they're more emotional, so they would naturally express more hate.
Well, isn't it hateful for radical feminists to say things like, kill all men and drink male tears?
Yeah, absolutely. But I think we can do a lot of work of trying to kill that narrative and do something better with it.
Drink male tears and kill all men?
Sure, there's radical people on both sides.
That's not okay. No, I'm tired. I'm tired of, yeah, there's no, no. Even if it's like people being dramatic, we must learn how to control our emotions. We have to, because we're setting a horrible example. Horrible. And I understand that a lot of it is like unconscious, and that's almost worse. This eyelash is fucking me up.
I think that they are also wrong.
I'm over here like we must be interconnected, and my eyelash is like trying to fly away from my bullshit.
I think anybody that
like, no, bitch,
hates somebody to the point that they want to drink people's tears is wrong.
Would you assume
it's kind of hot.
a lonely old cat lady hates men and feels entitled to a relationship?
No, because
Wait, what did he say? Sorry, John.
And kill all men?
Sure, there's radical people on both sides. I think that they are also wrong. I think anybody that hates somebody to the point that they want to drink people's tears is wrong.
Would you assume a lonely old cat lady hates men and feels entitled to a relationship?
No.
Do you guys know why? People are selfish or entitled? I have a theory that just popped in my brain. I think it's out of fear, and they want to control. And so if they can't control, they're kind of, what do you call it when you're like frozen in a state of fear? Like stifled? It's like, if I can't control, then I'll just be alone. I've been there too. Am I projecting? Maybe.
Oh, because I will be that old cat lady, and I would not hate men, and I don't feel whatever you said.
So why would we assume lonely young men hate women and feel entitled to sex?
I don't think lonely young men hate women, but they do feel like they are deserving of sex when there's things that come before that.
I feel like sex is an ability to like connect with somebody. If we're viewing it if you view it like somebody is trying to use you, assuming you're in like a monogamous relationship, using you and hasn't cared for your needs, I feel like this is a you problem. I feel like that might be projection. Are your feelings justified? Like, sure. But I feel like people get together, and I'm not judging, I'm just observing. It seems like people get together before they're like fully whole, Like, I remember when I was younger, when I was like 17, like young, but like old enough to not fuck shit up. I remember looking at women who would get engaged and stuff and be like, oh, wow, they like figured out how to heal. That's awesome. They're like, they wake up early, they do things. It was just something I remember thinking like, oh, so that's when it happens. Isn't that funny? It's kind of weird, actually. But now I feel like maybe I looked at that like with rose tinted glasses or whatever, and because now as an adult, when I look around at people getting married, it's like 1 out of 4 is actually done the work. It's like the other 3 of 4 did it for the Instagram photos. Is that still cool? There's nothing that makes me not want to get married more than the idea of walking down the aisle. Okay, there's nothing I want to do less. Unless I have my dog with me, then fine. Which would be such cute photos, but still, like, don't you think that I could be projecting? I could be. I don't know, because then you see them fight I love to third wheel and get involved in the argument. I'm just kidding. It was a meme.
I think women have evolved, and I think good for them because we used to be clean the house, cook the food. We are equal to men, so what the hell?
What is the definition of misogyny?
Hating women.
What is the definition of misandry?
I have no idea.
God.
Why have more people heard of misogyny than misandry?
Because this is what the country is built upon. That's what it is throughout historical, that women are always put last and men are put first, when women really run the economy.
Doesn't chivalry place?
If by running the economy, you mean companies sell us the same products they sell men, but they amp up the price because women will pay it for it to be like pink or something. It is called the pink tax. I also saw you, Joker. Like that, is that what you mean by running the economy? Listen, guys, I love the idea of educating women. I think it's one of the greatest things. I think it's one of the best ways to move any country. If a country's failing economically, socially, you educate the women, and a lot of good comes from it. A lot of bad can come from it too, depending on how you want to look at it. I think if you look at it bad, you're looking at it from like bottom up. I think we need to look at it top down. It's like there's so many factors that go into things like a family, education. It's like, how do you add something or push a group in one direction and for better outcomes, but like not affect family? Because family is what keeps things grounded, stable, less chaotic, if you will. It's like, how do we optimize both? Genuinely, I feel like the environment's just getting really fucked up. I know that sounds so like hippie-ish. I understand that. But I really do think if there's anything that we can do moving forward, it's fixing the environment. I think it's really getting people like operating in these I say instinct when I'm talking about like addictions, like unconscious behaviors. It's like you get one illness, and if you don't go to the doctor, it could be like running your life and you don't even know it. Not in a way that's like supposed to scare people. It's just like things that affect the environment that make you sick. You know, the air pollution. It's like it really is a problem, and I feel like we're not addressing it. It sounds so silly, right? But we really like we don't, it's like, Sean, how do you say it? Like the finite resources? It's like we're destroying our one girlfriend that like holds us all, you know? We're just killing her, aka like Mother Earth. I feel like if we go there, then it will fix things. See, I see it like when people are ill, you can't judge like what outcomes we're having. It's like stupid. It's like testing an ADHD kid's IQ test, and they haven't been medicated for the past week. Okay, it's like and I'm not saying you have to be medicated to be healthy. That's obviously not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is we are trying to look at family statistics, economy, all of it, education, workplace, all these stats when we're inhaling toxic shit. And then we have a pandemic hit, and people feel worse. And it's like, so if we're going to try to look at that stuff, we have to fix that stuff first. And by stuff, I mean the environment. We shouldn't have an environment that can that can sustain something like COVID. Like, that shouldn't have happened. Obviously, there's always like some sort of bug that comes out every 10 years. It's not new, but we're gonna all die. Not like that. Like if we don't take like extra measures to heal our home, it's obviously gonna affect us. It's like putting a cage in the basement with rats and then pumping it and asking why they're not getting married. You know what I mean? It's fucking me up. I messaged one of my friends and I was like, "Are you a determinist?" I hate labels. It's like the older I get, the more I think so. I was like, I think we should get together and plant trees. Somehow get everybody to do it. Be so cool. Would you guys come? Would you?
Women first?
Would you plant a tree with your bitch?
In some circumstances, yes, but I feel like it's still a power inequality because men view themselves as top priority and they put their woman, of course, in front of that, but they think that they hold all the power.
Do you think that misandry is as socially dangerous as misogyny, and if so, why?
Socially dangerous? No. Why? Honestly, I don't know. I've never heard of misandry until this moment.
I think they're both equally the same, but we pay attention to one more than we do the other, and that's wrong in itself, yeah.
Feminism claims to be about equality, but is often confused with man-hating. How can feminists repair this misconception?
I feel like a true feminist doesn't hate on men, and a true feminist...
Oh my God. Okay. From now on, anytime you do a street interview, if you ever go into these and there's women answering a question, I want everybody to go in like, that's not a real feminist when they say something. You're not a real feminist. Is that good or no?
Feminist views people or views men as equal to them. And I feel like that isn't something we got to repair. That's just something that's misconstructed in today's society.
Why aren't you able to talk about the needs and wants of men without automatically undermining the needs and wants of women? In other words, why does it have to be a zero-sum game?
Because I'm a woman and I'm not a man, so I do not know what men struggle with. I just know what women do, and women struggle a lot with.
That's a problem. Sorry, I didn't mean to yell. That's a problem. We can't do that. I need everybody to put themselves in the opposite gender, in the opposite anybody's shoes. Okay? Again, everybody has to heal themselves, but I think it could be on a collective level, but we need to, it's like you can't fix somebody's oxygen mask if they haven't put on their own, you know? But it's like, are we facilitating it by having podcasts where so tell us about the time that a man fucked you over? Like, I feel like we're exacerbating it. I don't know.
Men.
In other words, why does one gender winning have to mean that the other gender is losing?
I wouldn't say that. I say that men and women can be equal, but in the society and the nation that we live in, men and women aren't equal. And that's further proven by wage gaps and how people view men and...
Lost me at wage gap. Lost me.
Men versus women, where women are mostly put in compromising positions and undermined in a lot of...
We are putting ourselves in undermining positions. We are doing it to ourselves. I am sick and tired, and maybe I'm projecting right now because this is like I'm getting triggered. We need to be able to say, I did this. I'm not saying that we're victim shaming, but nobody can take you seriously when you say, well, I can't. Maybe I'm the toxic one, but it's exhausting. It's like 1 minute we're victims, but then we have power, only sexually though. And then it's like we want to be taken seriously. You know how people get taken seriously? Genuinely? You're right, I fucked up. Let me do it this way. I'm so sorry. You're not wrong. Let me try to do it again. Yes, I did that. I probably shouldn't have. That's how people take you seriously. We need to be okay with admitting faults and not shifting blame. I see the blame shifting a lot. That I can like, I see it almost, it's like the color red to me. It sticks out like a sore thumb. And it can come in different forms. It can come in something like passive aggressive, like, why isn't this window opening? When like somebody walks by, assuming that it's their fault. It's like, maybe you just didn't fix the window correctly. And now you notice it. I don't know. That was a horrible example. But the blame shifting. Oh, I can't.
Of scenarios, whereas men are placed at the top, but that's not necessarily where credit is given. That's just the role that they're placed in.
Is it possible to empower men without hurting women?
Absolutely.
Is it possible to empower women without hurting men?
Absolutely.
Why does one gender winning have to mean that the other gender is losing?
Because that's BS. Because we're supposed to win together.
How does giving men more rights seen as removing rights from women?
It's not, because if we uphold them, then it will gain us too as well.
How does giving men more rights seen as removing rights from women?
Because men already have a lot more rights than women have.
Oh, here we go.
Can you name any rights that men have that women don't?
No, they never can.
Not off the top of my head. Things are more in our favor.
That was in the beginning. I was like, oh God.
I think men have always had a higher power, so a lot of women feel undermined by men since the beginning, always having the upper hand.
What privileges does the average man have?
I have no answer for you, honestly.
What is the 4B movement?
The 4B movement is basically, it originally started in Korea, I believe, and women aren't having sex with men, women aren't reproducing with men.
The 4B movement to me right now feels like the ultimate blame shifting. You know what? I'm not gonna fuck you. You're doing them a favor. You probably weren't even fucking. Like, let's keep it 100, bitch. I love you. But, like, come on. If you were only fucking out of charity, which I know that you didn't do that because you value yourself way more than that, right? It's like, it's toxic. It really is. I think it's like throwing a bunch of bacteria in the environment. It's just exacerbating. If you want to do that, cool. Don't put it on social media because you're actively harming others, I think, when you do it. I don't think it's a movement that demands collective effort. It could be collective, not on the internet. It's like there's like young girls and boys that watch content like that. Be mindful.
Because of the economic structure of men being placed beforehand and men being top priority and women being viewed as less.
Or maybe because they were like, you know what, let's surrender the men for you. First responders, maybe? I don't.
It's a way for women to stick it to the man, but in a more literal term. So we are taking the power back, refraining from sex, not giving them what they want, and keeping our sanity in the process. Started in South Korea, and now it's moving across the globe after Trump got elected.
I respect all women that are contributing in the 4B movement because that's something very powerful because sex is power.
Which, who wants power? Genuinely. Who wants power? somebody who wants control. Toxic.
Why is sex typically the first thing that's withheld when women don't get what they want?
Because that's the forefront. That's what power is in the relationship.
What does that say about what women actually contribute to a relationship?
I say that doesn't say a lot about what women contribute, because that is what's from a man's perspective, you know what I mean? Like that's what's top priority for a man. When a man introduces himself to a woman, that is always what's on the forefront of his mind. It's not always about who the person is inside. Of course there are men that are like that, but sex is always top priority to men. And
I withhold sex because I just think you hate me. Like, why we gotta do this thing?
I feel like women holding that back is respect for themselves, and that's creating more power in.
No, I'm starting shit 100%. It's not good. It's not good. But let's keep it 100 moving forward.
Women's structure.
Isn't that the same thing as using sex as a weapon against men?
I wouldn't say it's using sex as a weapon, but it is. I mean, if you can't constrain yourself as a man and you feel like sex is a weapon, then I guess it would be considered a weapon in that case.
Why were feminists never considered a hate group, yet men merely fighting for their equal rights are?
Good question. Never looked.
More like not even men fighting, men voicing it. It's like they're not even fighting for it. They're just like trying to be like, hey, we don't like that tough shit. It's fucked up.
That anything of that sort, and that's because once I say it, is they're trying to digress us, to digress our men in order for them to have control.
I feel like feminists aren't a hate group because feminism is women trying to get that equality in a man-powered world. And you said men what?
Men have a long line of history of hating women, and I think that it's really negatively affected women. And
prove it. Not saying that it doesn't happen. I wish I want us to get specific.
Women can hate men, but it's never super negatively affected men in the way that it has women.
Really? Like 4-time self-deletion? More likely to be addicted to drugs and alcohol? Pornography? No friends? Secluded? It's like we say that, and I don't think it bothers people. But the more that people stay inside, like really bad in my brain, it's bad. Because the less you go outside, the less times you have to heal, which sounds super hippie-ish, but believe me, I feel it.
I don't know. It's weird because men don't need that power. Men already have that power, so that's why it's not considered the same.
If they did, then why aren't we all in the kitchen? Just saying.
A lot of the issues that I bring up on this channel are often met with responses like, it goes both ways. If it does go both ways, why do women dominate the mainstream media when talking about women's issues, while men's issues are forced to remain online?
I don't think men's issues are forced to be anything that women's issues aren't.
Men's issues are definitely important, but women's issues have been suppressed so long that I feel like women are really coming to the forefront.
That didn't happen.
We respect the women more. It's like everybody does, not even just men. Everybody respects the women more than the men because
the historical oppression that women believe that they need reparations for, and I believe that's why it's talked about more.
That's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it.
I feel like I said, men are more reserved and don't really want to talk about it.
Maybe because...
And it sounds very entitled.
Women speak up more about their issues.
And when I say entitled, what I'm really saying is fear, which fear brings a necessity for control. And so it's a continuous cycle of power, control. It's like entitlement, power, control, selfish. It's not good. It's not good.
than men do. Maybe they feel like they can't because they might feel less than.
Do you think the problem is that men don't speak up, or do you think the problem is that men aren't heard when they do speak up?
I think that they don't speak up.
No, they do. And then we say not like that. We do. It's so fucked up. It's like, we need men to control their emotions. Gets mad if they get angry. It's like, well, they're scared, right? But you should still be allowed to show emotion. Obviously, control it. Hopefully you learn it when you're younger, but like, we just don't have the patience for it. People.
Like I said, men's feelings are us expressing ourselves was made to be kind of silenced and not like brought about, or you weren't brought up to talk about your stuff as a man.
If we consider that the mainstream media, social media, TV, newspaper are all owned by powerful men, the real patriarchy of this world, who is giving women so much airtime and platform to challenge the patriarchy?
These questions break the brain. They can't see it. It literally never computes. I bring this up all the time. All the time. I just brought it up yesterday.
Men.
Why?
Because men like looking at women.
If it's not the government, it's the media. You got to think of the agenda. I mean, there's people say there's no agenda. Some people be like there's an agenda, but there is an agenda, or else your perspective wouldn't be what it is.
Yeah.
So
this man speaks the goddamn truth. I wonder if he has a podcast.
think they want to push these things because women will manipulate the men. That's why women will definitely get the men to do whatever men want to do.
True. Why are we like this? Was Roma in it? I didn't see it. My eyelash is all messed up. What'd you guys think? It was good. It was good. Now what do we do? Respect women, but don't lose self-respect in the process. That's another thing is I feel like I don't know if it's just obviously I'm talking about when I see stuff. Oh my God, this looks so wild. I have one lash. It's like, but when I see people online, just like men and women interacting, it's like men have to constantly bend to women's wants and needs. And I watch it at the expense of the man. And it's like men, I hate to say like men need to have a backbone, but you need two things, okay? A backbone and a pair of balls. And I think we need to teach boundaries, but not just women's boundaries, because then it becomes one-sided really quickly. And I think it works to our detriment. I'm saying me like as if I'm women in a monolith, right? It's dependent for everybody. But sometimes I feel like if you need to become aware when you're demanding it goes both ways. But if you find that you demand things from like a boyfriend, if you will, it's like you need to be able to find those things in yourself. I remember thinking like, damn, this man's doing a lot for me and I'm a piece of shit. Okay, not the best way to talk to yourself, but it got me off the couch. It's just like you need, like, for everything he does, do 5 more things. Because I can guarantee you there's things that they're doing that you don't even notice, like, at all. You know, it's just, I don't think people should be dating if they're not, healing those parts. And I know men will be like, no, we want to date you before that. But I don't think it's good for people. It can be, you know, it can be, but only you can decide that for yourself. Stop dating people that you're not obsessed is probably a bad word. We should do a whole thing on like compatibility, because I feel like when I was younger, I didn't know what that meant. I feel like now that I'm hitting the wall, I might, for my girls, for my young girls that are watching, what's compatibility? Not codependency. It's not somebody that can do the things you can't, but makes you want to do the things you can't yourself. But not in like not in a I'm an independent bitch way, like inspires, somebody who inspires you. Not on like a business level way, but like mindset maybe? I don't know. What's not compatible? Arguing. I don't know. Like, yeah, you should be able to have arguments in order to communicate sometimes, but I don't think there should be yelling, disrespect. I don't know. This eyelash is really bothering me though. I want to rip it off. Oh, this is good. Everything you do needs to be complementary to what he's doing for you and vice versa. That's real teamwork. Yeah. But I like at the same time, I feel like it should just flow. But if you can't, like, if there's something I wish I would have told myself when I was younger, which I don't regret anything, but if you notice that they do more for you and you can't find it in you to do it, like, be single. You need to work on that. It's not okay. Because you're exploiting people, right? That's like the way I look at it. Just rip it off, honestly. I'm going to. Hot. I look like Charlie Brown in Charlie Brown Christmas special. Learn to be with yourself. Learn to like operate at your highest self. Get into good habits and routines. And have good role models. And have good morals. Or like, if you fuck up, try again. I don't know. I had an ex before, and I've talked about this story that I don't know how he did it. I don't know how he did it, but he had somehow managed. I was actually just talking about this too with him. He had managed to address something really uncomfortable in the most constructive way possible. And to this day, I'm like, how did he do that without upsetting me? Granted, like, if somebody is critiquing, I think I was 26. I'm 29 now. I turned 30 in a month. Is it December? Yeah, I turned 30 in a month. But I don't know how. I was just like, oh, shit. I'll work on that. Thank you. Even to myself, I was like, whoa, growth, baby. I forget what it was, though. Something like, do you find that you need to prove yourself in conversations? And I was like, oh, I do that? No shit. Thank you so much. Fixed it. Never happened again. But hey, if you can do that for somebody, all the better, right? me before and after the tequila. It's like, oh, this side looks better, I think. January 31st, the end of January. Nietzsche. And you let him go. Guys, there's only so many times you can fuck up until you feel like you're just fucking their lives up. I ran away. Nietzsche was right about a lot. Prophetic. Prophetic. That's why even many Christians appreciate him. Yeah. Even though a lot of people think he was nihilistic. I don't think so, but a lot of people thought so. Thank you so much. Speaking of merch, y'all. Speaking of, I was walking around in Home Goods and I was waiting to, I was on hold or whatever for the surgeon. I was walking around and I was like, wait, how cool would it be if I made ceramic mugs? Like each one, okay? So they're all kind of different and painted them like spots on a Dalmatian. Wouldn't that be cool? And then say something funny like, I don't know, bold of you. I don't know. I don't know what would be like funny. It could be different on every one. And just make like 20 of them every season. I thought that would be cool because they had a bunch of mugs that looked like they were like handcrafted with different designs. And I worked in a nightclub and my ex at the time it's called like throwing events. And every Thursday they would do some sort of art event, whether it was like a fashion show or something. And there was one event where it was like a yearly thing where they would take a bottle of Ace of Spades and there was an artist that would paint it. And it was so cool. And I remember thinking, wow, that's such a innovative, it's not the right word, but creative. It was super cool. You could probably still look it up. I was like, if I could do merch that incorporated something like that. And then I was like walking in the store and I was like, that's a cool idea. And then nobody has the same thing, you know? 101 mugs. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Have like girl dad on it. I don't know. Anyways. Chicago, baby. I bet you're 10% Russian or Irish. Irish, German, and Italian. Favorite food, shawarma. Or hummus. I don't know, one of the two. Shawarma. Such a weird word. Sleepy. This mug hits the spot. Genius. Write that down. Write that down. Really? Those are up there for me too. I only eat Mediterranean food. It's my favorite. You look like the Anna Kendrick. I get that a lot. Or like hypergamy with like a cat. Single and childless woman reacts. Favorite Indian dish? I like naan, but I've only had chicken tikka masala, which was fire. Don't get me wrong. It's fire. I don't know. If anybody remembers anything I've said on a live stream that should be merch, put it in the comments below. I'm looking for ideas. Okay. It's been a minute. I can't remember all of them, but okay. I am going to go to bed. Everybody, drink your tea, drink some water. Make sure you subscribe to It's Complicated as well. Our boy. Oh God. Okay, subscribe. Love you. Bye. Oh my God, this looks insane. I'm going bye. Love you.